What are my top 5 energy stocks? Guys, when we're talking about sector breakdown, any diversified portfolio is going to have around 9% allocated to the energy sector. And right now I find it as to be one of the most intriguing sectors because of the huge downturn in crude oil, okay? So I'm going to outline my top 5 energy stocks for you guys, all right? Number one, a lot of you guys who have watched my videos, I talk about Chevron all the time. It's a wonderful cornerstone to give you some energy exposure within your guys' portfolio. It's a huge relevant company. It's been around for a long time. It pays a huge dividend, guys. So it's something that you can buy for the long term and set up to dividend reinvest for yourself. And it gives you exposure to the energy sector, but it gives you really safe exposure. Now, don't get me wrong, within this energy sector, the energy sector is tied right to the hip to the price of oil because it affects a lot of the divisions of crude oil, come out your petroleum products on the black side. And then on the chemical side, it affects a lot of that and a lot of the liquefied natural gas. And with a lot of the fracking technology that's out nowadays, it really does force these guys to keep reinventing themselves, guys. But what we're looking at here on the Independent Investor channel is not to name the perfect stock to buy in a portfolio that's going to go up 150% overnight. What we're looking at is to give you the very best of breed, to give you that sector exposure of 9%. Now, with the current situation, the way that it is in energy, I certainly could recommend being a little bit overweight energy as I am right now, just with regard to where the market is and how production is being cut and the demand for the commodity is going up. Okay, and at some point those two are going to divulge and we're going to have a spike in price. Right now in the mid 40s, I seemingly feel like it's somewhat finding its bottom on the bottom end of the range, guys. So I'm going to try to push this video out here for you guys who are kind of confused on how you could supplement your portfolio with some energy exposure. All right, the second one is the second major oil company. It is the biggest oil company in the world, and Exxon Mobil again pays a really big 3.5% dividend. It's an excellent addition to the portfolio, guys. If you're a spouse and you have a spouse out there and you're looking to complement two portfolios together, you cannot go wrong with Chevron and Exxon. And you just set those up and you buy them and you own them forever. Okay, there's no reason to trade in and out of these positions. These positions are being recommended in a well-diversified portfolio, and these are just my recommended picks to satisfy this 9% allocation, guys. And I think right now I'm stretched almost to 15% in my particular portfolio because I actually deem energy a little bit more intriguing than financials at this particular juncture. Okay, so Exxon Mobil, and then you've got Royal Dutch Shell. All right, we've all heard of it. These are all international players. They all have international exposure. Royal Dutch Shell actually pays a dividend upwards of 6%. I think it's a little over 6% right now. So it can be a long-term holding. They're expanding in Europe. I just came back from Europe last week, and Royal Dutch Shell is all over. They're relevant. They're going to be relevant, and it's not a name that I don't mind pushing out to my viewers as a real core holding in any portfolio. Now, guys, keep in mind, you don't have to own all these names, all right? You might pick one, all right, and allocate the amount of money to get up to this 9% of your overall holdings within your account, okay? Royal Dutch Shell. Total Energy is also predominantly European. You don't see them in the United States. They're an international holding company, and they are also one of the biggest energy companies in the world. They pay close to a 5% dividend. You kind of notice here, the theme within these energy sectors. You're going to get some price fluctuation, tied to the crude oil price. But with crude oil prices being up over $100, just in the short previous years, and now being in the mid 40s, it dipped all the way down into the mid 20s, and really people were wondering where the bottom was in Brent crude. Now it's kind of settling out, and there's been some moves by OPEC to try to control the amount of production and the production cuts coming out. to try to curtail. So if there's any intriguing time in the energy sector, I certainly don't want my viewers, you know, to look back and say, gosh, I really wish I would have got in, because this is just pretty close to a kind of a recalibration of the energy sector that we're in right now. And I really don't think we have a whole lot of downside risk at this current juncture. All right. The last one is Schlumberger. It actually provides the equipment to the oil companies to work and actually do all the scientific, all the drilling, you know, all the technology, all the you know, the drilling rigs. These guys are the primary player. They are the #1 company for oil supply service company. All right, so they're supplying all these guys with all the equipment. You're talking about, I think, close to a 3% dividend on Schlumberger, but certainly it could be a very complementary pick to some of these bigger major names. If you wanted to put one of these top 4 into a cornerstone, you could certainly take a Schlumberger and throw it into the other side of the portfolio, and you're getting the very best oil service provider in the industry, bar none, hands down. I just mentioned over here a few honorable mention names, one of which I actually own right now and I advocate for because I want Permian Basin exposure. Permian Basin, you guys can Google that and check out, you know, the lands that represents. But MRO, I actually forgot, I do own Devon Energy actually, which is a phenomenal natural gas play here, and they do have Permian assets. So I just thought about that actually, so I'll throw that out there to you guys too, which is actually pulled back off of its highs in the upper 50s and actually come back around the 30 price, and I actually picked some up below 30, which I thought was an absolute bargain. But EOG actually is one of the biggest energy players in the market, really on par with your Chevron and Exxon, but just I thought it was a lot more volatile of a stock, doesn't pay quite a healthy dividend and isn't quite established, but some of the industry experts are within EOG. MRO I've talked about, Marathon Oil with their Permian assets. They've sold off a lot of their equipment to try to reduce their debt, and they actually should be becoming profitable here pretty quick. And I think close to $10 share is a bargain for these guys, so pick some of these guys up. NRG is alternative energy play, and it's actually spiked. I don't know if I recommend this. That's why I kind of threw this over here in the alternative category, because it's actually spiked pretty good as of late. It had a one-day increase of 15–20%. And I hate to push out names like that, but it is an interesting one. I threw it over here in the alternative category. If you guys want to take a look at it, please do so. And then, of course, on par with Schlumberger is Halliburton. Halliburton provides the same service as Schlumberger, and you know it's #2 in the world. Really, the only 2 players in the world that provide oil service equipment to the oil services majors is Schlumberger and Halliburton. So I do offer those as a pick. I've owned Halliburton in the past and I've made good money. I don't currently own them. The only one out of this list is MRO, and then Devon Energy I didn't mention, but I do own Devon Energy at the current juncture. I've owned Chevron for years. So out of this list, I own Chevron and Marathon currently, and I'm pretty overweight with my percentage of allocation when compared to the baseline of sector, recommended sector weight and energy. I'm actually overweight, and it's actually my favorite sector. So listen, guys, please leave your comments. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave your comments. Give me your ideas about your favorite energy stocks within the commentary section of my videos. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. You can share the information with anybody out there you know who can benefit from the information. Really, anybody out there who's looking to build a well-diversified portfolio. This only offers just a small piece of a snapshot, of my cornerstone approach to building a long-standing portfolio for people that are going to stand the test of time. They're going to stand the test of a downturn, and this is just a small piece and allocation of what should go into a well-diversified portfolio. Guys, thanks again for tuning in. Again, hit the thumbs up button for me. Good luck in your investment future.